Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfics. This will be the continuation of Datastream. This will be Part 28, Chapter 28. Are you ready for the summer camp? Ashido asked excitedly. I think I have everything I need, but we should totally do a class trip to the mall to make sure everyone has what they need. Kirishima looked up at her with a depressed look. You guys have fun. I'm not going to be able to go. I failed. He legitimately looked like he was about to cry, and Izuku just couldn't let that happen. Hey, did Uncle say you couldn't go? Yeah, he said that anyone who failed the finals would be left behind. This time it was Sero who answered. Well, I'm not sure if you realize this, but my uncle is a lying liar who lies, so I'm like 99% sure he lied, Izuku grinned. Besides, this is a training camp. Wouldn't the people who failed need the most extra training? I hope you're right, man, Kirishima said. Well, since we're likely all going, Ashido said hopefully. We should go out shopping for the trip. How about Saturday? We can all go to the mall and get supplies. Pass, Hitoshi deadpanned. I already have plans. Shouto agreed. He's being kidnapped by Izuku and myself. Izuku sighed wistfully. I missed Shouto's kidnapping in January, so Hito's has to be extra special. Sero and Kirishima exchanged nervous glances. Kidnappings? Izuku's eyes lit up with a nearly manic glee. Yes, I had plans for Shouto's birthday, but then we didn't meet in person until February. I missed it. So, I'm overcompensating by making Hito's extra special. Hitoshi pointed at Izuku. See, that's why me and Sho can't come to the mall with you guys on Saturday. Shigaraki Tomura smiled at his screen. He had finally gotten a new character back to max level. Dust was a warlock that specialized in decay-type magic, much better than that mage he had. Ashes, which for some reason had been nerfed to hell the same time the rest of his World of Legends characters were deleted. And yes, he was still upset about that, all of his hard work gone, thousands of hours of gameplay ruined. But Dust was his new main. Dust was undead and looked a lot like Tomura himself, with his blue hair and lanky frame. Now he just needed to get some decent gear. All his gold had been on his old warlock, but Tomura knew how to play the auction house, so while he was nowhere near where his old fortune was, he still had enough to buy a decent set of gear. Shigaraki Tomura, came Kurogiri's voice from outside his door. Will you be doing anything productive today? Tomura had to think about it for a minute. With Sensei gone, the entire league was now his. However, with Sensei gone, his mind was also clear for the first time in years. That insatiable itch in his neck had diminished also. He couldn't really remember exactly why he hated All Might for so long. Yes, he had been hurt by his family, killed his parents with this quirk, was neglected by every passerby on the street, and Sensei was the only one who had stopped to care for him. But really, how was that All Might's fault? Tomura knew that All Might had been on the complete opposite side of the world at that time. Okay, so also yes, society leaned too heavily on All Might's symbol of peace gimmick. It had become complacent, but again, how was that All Might's fault? If anything, it would be Sensei's fault. If he hadn't been attacking society for years, then they wouldn't have had the need for such a strong hero to rise above and be the pillar of peace. All Tomura wanted was to sit here and go on raids with his World of Legends friends and guild. Dust was now level 200. He had agreed to go on a raid with that green druid once he got his ding, and now he got the ding. Shigaraki Tomura, Kurogiri called again. We really should be planning the next strike against All Might. Tomura glared at the door but didn't answer. He didn't want to deal with Kurogiri and his stupid loyalty to Sensei. But he knew that if he didn't get back to planning, Kurogiri would just move them again. He kept moving them every few days, and he didn't even let Tomura take any of his tech with him. All he was able to take was the clothes he had been wearing. He hadn't even been allowed to take Father. But Tomura wasn't exactly upset about that. He didn't know why he didn't mind, but he didn't mind. The only part about the constant moves he had been really upset with had been not being allowed to keep his computer. Each time they moved, Tomura had to find a computer to log on to so he could play his games again. And that always upset Kurogiri and caused another move. Fine, Tomura hissed out. I'll be productive if it gets you off my back for one stupid day. Tomura packed up his laptop and put it in his bag. Maybe he can go to a cafe and play. Some good coffee, a pastry, gaming without Kurogiri looking over his shoulder. What could go wrong? As it turns out, a lot could go wrong when the cafe he chooses is a cat cafe that is frequented by hero brats. Tomura had already been set up and was mid-dungeon when the three boys came in. One with green hair, one with purple hair, and one with red and white hair. He recognized 2 of them from the failed attack on the USJ a while back. The trio set up in a section fairly close to where Tomura was sitting, and he didn't know how he felt about this. On the one hand, he could probably kill them, and that would get Kurogiri off his back for a while, but on the other hand, why? There really was no reason for any of this. Tomura wasn't really all that interested in being a villain anymore. He wanted to go into game design or something similar. With the weeks away from Sensei, his mind was a lot clearer than ever before, and he just wanted to be done with everything. Maybe he could approach these teens and see if they could get him in contact with some heroes who could actually help him. He looked back down at his screen and realized he had a whisper from that green druid. "Dude, congrats on the ding. About damn time." "Seriously, in real life blows. Tell me about it. I had to go through finals this past week, and my teacher is a sadistic rat, I swear to God. But I passed, and that's all that really matters." "Oh, you're in school? High school or college?" "High school. You?" "I never went to school. I wasn't allowed. I managed to learn how to read and write, and my caretaker taught me basic math, but..." "Damn, that blows. Living in isolation like that must have been hard. I'm glad you seem to be able to live a little more freely now." "Yeah, actually my old sensei got arrested, and I've started to see that he was manipulating me just for my quirk." "Dude, I'm so sorry about that. Have you tried to reach out to see if you can get, some help? It sounds like you were a prisoner or something." "I was actually thinking about it, to be honest. Sensei had me do something pretty fucked up a few weeks ago, and I don't know if I can really reach out to anyone without getting put in prison myself." "You won't know unless you try, my dude. I wouldn't even know who to reach out to. Can I let you in on a little secret?" "Sure, I guess." "Okay, but you gotta promise not to get mad, 'kay? You're the only one I've been able to talk to at all in the past few weeks. I seriously doubt I can really get mad at you at this point. I'm holding you to that. I'm the one you called admin in your attack on the USJ." Tomura just stared at his screen in shock. That green druid was the admin that ruined his attack. That pesky cheater, that 2-bit hack. How dare he ruin his perfect plan to kill All Might and then pretend at being friends with him? Wait. Tomura took a deep breath and allowed himself to calm down. That green druid admitted to being in high school just now, so it was likely some of those students were his friends. He was probably protecting his friends, that's why he ruined the attack. "My guy, you there? Come on, dude, you said you wouldn't be mad at me." "You were really the admin? You stopped my attack?" "Well, I didn't stop it, more like I called for help and distracted you, and got you to send that monster to running around the facility instead of killing the single best hero in existence." "But All Might didn't show up." "Oh, that's precious. You think I was talking about that useless moron? No, the single best hero in existence is Eraserhead, and your brain monster was about to kill him. If you're willing, I can get you into contact with him, and he can help you." I'll think about it." "That's fair, but you might want to think fast, since he knows where you are. I fully suggest turning yourself in when he shows up, that or teleporting out, but really, running after this conversation would only hurt your chances." "You've known who I am this whole time, haven't you? This is the first time you've been close enough to Musatafu for me to actually send a hero I trust to get you. Most others would likely try to hurt you, but Eraserhead won't. Not unless you attack him, or someone else, that is." Tomura looked at the trio of hero brats. They were acting all cute and cuddly, with the green one scooping up whipped cream from his drink with his finger and plopping it on the purple one's nose. The red and white one leaned in and licked the whipped cream off his nose. It was disgustingly cute. Tomura closed his laptop but didn't get up. If he was going to be approached by Eraserhead, he might as well pack up before he got there. Shouta wasn't panicking. He wasn't, but he was ignoring a few traffic laws to get to the cafe Izuku was at with his boyfriends. Izuku told him that Shigaraki was at the cafe, and Shouta didn't want to risk him attacking his nephew. Or, any of the other civilians either. Shouta had made sure to tell Izuku that both Todoroki and Shinso had permission to use their quirks if Shigaraki tried anything before he got there. But Izuku was pretty sure the villain would sit there calmly and wait for Shouta to arrive. Shouta calmly walked in the door, not showing any of his anxiety, and quickly spotted his nephew and his 2 idiots, his two boyfriends, and approached them. Shinso looked up with a grin, whipped cream on his nose and cheek. "Aizawa, what are you doing here?" Shouta just looked at him blankly. Why does he have whipped cream on his nose and cheek? He looked at Todoroki and Izuku. One had whipped cream on his lip and the other on his finger. Ah, they're being cute and flirty. Shouta sighed in defeat. You have a little something on your nose. He deadpanned to his purple student, causing him to blush bright red. He glanced at Izuku and raised an eyebrow, subtly asking where Shigaraki was, and just as subtly got a gesture towards a back corner. Nodding, Shouta left the three to their date and went to where the villain was. Checking in with your students, Eraserhead? He asked. I haven't done anything other than look their way a few times. I know. Mind if I join you? At Shigaraki's gesture of assent, Shouta pulled out a chair and sat. Datastream has been keeping tabs on you since the attack at Kamino. Who's Datastream? Is that the hacker admin from the USJ? Shigaraki wondered. Shouta snorted. He gets called a hacker all the time, but I think you're the only one to call him an admin. But yes, he's Datastream. His gamer tag is that green druid. Shigaraki looked at the three boys again, and Shouta was sure he saw a light of recognition in his eyes. That's him right there, isn't he? Shouta didn't reply. He said you won't send me to prison if I cooperate. That's not what he said, but it's close enough. There is a villain and vigilante reform program, and with the endorsement of a pro-hero you could enter. So long as you abide by the rules of the program, you can avoid prison. You would still be on preventative parole for a few years after completing the program, but so long as you don't break any laws while in the program or on parole, you will be allowed to live your life as though nothing ever happened. Shouta gave him a hard look. So, if I'm going to give you my endorsement, I want to know why. Why did you do what you did? Shigaraki looked down at his hands, 2 fingers on each hand covered by artist gloves. He narrowed his eyes and then said, Sensei. He found me when I was a kid. My quirk manifested in before I knew what was happening, or what I was doing, or anything really. I had killed my entire family. I was scared, I just wanted to hug my mom. He took a sip of his coffee. No one stopped to help the kid who was obviously distraught, sitting in a dirty alley. No one but Sensei. Would it be safe to assume that Sensei is all for one? Shouta questioned. Shigaraki nodded. He took me in, said it was All Might's fault no one else would help me. Said things along the lines of heroes were useless, that the world belonged to people like us, people who could just take what we wanted and kill whoever got in our way. He took another sip of his drink. To be honest, all I want is to play video games. It didn't seem like that during the attack, Shouta prodded. No, but Sensei had done something to my mind, I think. I don't know, but these past few weeks since he's been arrested have been really nice. I don't feel the constant itch that has been in my neck for years. I don't feel the insane need to kill All Might. I don't feel the need to bring down Hero Society. He looked up at Shouta. I feel free for the first time since I met Sensei. If I had another option, I can promise you I wouldn't be a villain anymore. Shouta leaned back in his chair and looked at Shigaraki. I will be requiring you to wear quirk-canceling cuffs during the transportation to the reform facility. When you get there, they will be doing a full psychiatric evaluation as well as getting your official statement from a detective with a lie detector quirk to validate your story. Once you pass both parts, then you will be officially enrolled in the reform program. Do you understand? Yeah. He paused for a moment. Can you verify if that green kid over there is Datastream? If he is, I'd like to talk to him for a few minutes. Shouta pulled out his phone. He wants to talk to you. Izuku gave both Todoroki and Shinso a head ruffle and walked over. Pulling out a chair next to Shouta, he sat down. You wanted to talk? Izuku asked with his signature sunshine smile. Shouta could see the second Todoroki and Shinso realized who else was at the table with them. Shouta shook his head slightly at them, and they backed down but didn't get any less tense. I just have one question, Shigaraki stated. At Izuku's nod, he continued. Did you delete all my World of Legend characters? Izuku let his sunshine smile fade. You see this man here, Eraserhead? Shigaraki nodded. Not only is he my favorite hero of all time, he's also my uncle. He was the first person to give 2 fucks about me, the first person to look at me and see someone worthy of being loved. And you and your brain monster almost killed him. So yeah, after I was sure he was going to live, I took out my frustrations on you. I'm a petty shit when I want to be. And I'm one hell of a hacker. Izuku smiled gently. Make it through the reform program, and I might remove the nerve I put on Ashes. Shigaraki glared slightly at Izuku. I'd rather have my priest back. Hana was my favorite, and the name's been taken by someone else. I made sure the data for all your characters couldn't be retrieved, but I can get the name back for you if that's what you want. Please. He was quiet for a moment and then whispered, Hana was my sister's name. Complete the reform program, and I'll get her name back for you. Izuku reached over to touch Shigaraki's hand. I have to go, but if they let you have access to a computer, I'll keep in touch with you online. Take care of yourself, Dust. With that, Izuku walked back over to his boyfriends. You ready to go? Shouta asked. Yeah, I'm ready. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 28 of Datastream. Chapter 29 will be up next. Hope you all are still enjoying this fic. I'm eager to hear your thoughts and reactions, and as always, thank you so much for listening.